Yo, No Maniacs, welcome to the show. This is Nomad Live, all Bears all the time, in conjunction with Sports Zone Chicago and the SuperBack Shawn Sierra.
Hey.
We got a pretty full panel for you today. We got my guy Brandon Hyatt, aka Trax, coming back for round 3. He'll be on with us in just a second. And we got my guy Tim Bears in this is his debut, guys. Unmute your mics if you could. Unmute. And my guy Tim Bears is here for his very first ever show on Nomad Network, on the Nomad Network. And man, welcome to the show, brother.
No Maniacs.
Good to see you, man. I'm glad you're finally getting in here, man. We've been talking to this guy, man, for a couple of weeks now, man. It's been great getting to know him. It's like I had a feeling about him the same as I had about the Bishop, of what he could bring to the table. It's just been good to get to know these two guys. And Bishop is being everything I thought he would be. And I think Tim Bears is going to be all that and some as well, man. So it's great bringing on new people, man, giving them an opportunity, man. And I just look forward to, we got some stuff cooked up for you guys. You ain't going to see it coming, but we got some stuff cooked up. And we'll just leave it there. But, hey, Canuck, man, let's give some pleasantries. You on mute too, bro.
All right, I got it, bro. It's a flick of the wrist. No Maniacs, what's cracking? Hopefully, we got another one for you here on a Wednesday. Should be a good show. Get into that pick number 75 and all that is related to that. Just give some shout outs to the heads that are here already representing in the chat. My guy, number one, No Maniac Plank, again at the tippy top. Patty Lara, hey Patty, how you doing? Aunt Mass. King Booker World in the building, AC Adam in the building, Bear Truth 9 representing as well. Lord Crimson, you're all over the map, brother. I see you out there just chopping it up. I appreciate you. Marlon Johnson, looks like first time I'm seeing you in the chat. What's up, Marlon? Like, share, subscribe. Marco King, FFG Style, Mr. Mayhem. Geez, man, all y'all, thanks for coming out. Oh, Junior, what's up, Junior? Mike Davidson, geez, we got a packed crowd. Mike Whalen as well. Oh, from Orlando, nice. A little bit of Florida love from me to you. Trust me, that's my home away from home, man. I love it. Cornelius Squalls, always representing with us, and Brent Coleman. I see you a couple of times, Brent, but it looked like you changed up your profile picture. I ain't gonna hold that against you. In any event, let's get to it, gentlemen. Bishop, what do you got to say?
Good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? No Maniac Sports Zoners in the house today. Yes, sir. It's another great afternoon to talk Bears football, and we have our esteemed panel today. We're going to chop it up for real. But for my most true favorites out there, you know who you are. My boy Stuart and Sophie out in Florida. My girl Rita and my girl Felicia and Chi-Town, stand up, as well as the west side and the south side of Chi. Yo, we getting ready to get to it. Shawn, what it do? Ooh, I'm sorry. As well as I got to introduce. Let me do the introduction to today. Tim Bears, what's going on, brother? How are you? Thank you for joining us today, brother.
Brother, I'm thrilled and honored. I'm just honored. Just want to thank Nomad, and just want to tell y'all how blessed I am to just share this knowledge, Bears, and build with y'all on some Bears and get funky with it. You know what I'm saying? And just shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody. Just really appreciate the love.
That's right. Get funky with it.
Hey, go ahead,
time, baby. Like we always do about this time.
Sports owners and No Maniacs unite. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Man, I'm fired up, man. We got a full channel, full panel, a full chat room. Man, no way to. Let's kick it off. Trax.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm glad to be back and in the building, and I'm just elated to be here to talk some Bears football, man. There's a lot of good stuff going on, so can't wait to chop it up with you guys. And by the way, just in case you're wondering, this is Trax. I'm not DJ Moore, but
all right. Hey, fellas, let's go ahead and start off real strong, because there was a power move, like a Tim Duncan post move, man. The Texans went out there and posted the NFC South up. Can you help me out with the chat a little bit, man? Because we ain't got Brian today. Posted the NFC South up, man. Power move, turn, spin, dunk. grabbed Stephon Diggs for a second rounder and got back a fifth and sixth rounder in exchange. What a power move. You talking about building around your quarterback, building the team. I mean, after you guys talk, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna show you guys or tell you guys more or less the moves that they made off season, man. They've accumulated some nice pickups, man. I'm telling you, the Texans ain't nothing to be fooling around with. They have done. It's really a masterclass on how to handle the all season and go all in on your quarterback and really build the team around them and get it. I mean, that was just incredible. Let me not talk so much and pass it on to Kedz. What do you think about that move?
Well, looks like the AFC is officially on notice. That's probably the best thing for me to say there. I'm gonna say some other weird stuff. I don't know how much they really needed a wide receiver, but at least they got a veteran presence is really the way that I'll look at it on the offense. The offense was really youthful, but let's just be real, guys. That youthful, young offense over there in Texas is super good, right? Starting with CJ Stroud, then you got Nico Collins out there just doing all sorts of damage. Man, Noah Brown ain't so bad, but I think he might be a free agent right now. He might be on the market. Outside of that, sure, yeah, you bring in Stephon Diggs, but then you got Tank Dell just creating separation all over the field. Young running back, Damian Pierce, pretty solid. I believe I think they got a running back on the free agency market too. I'm blanking out as to who they landed on right now. But yeah, that offense is going to look disgusting next year, and I'm quite glad we don't have to be up against it in any capacity. Maybe we see them throughout the season, perhaps, but that'll definitely be a bit of a litmus test for the Bears defense or any other defense out there.
Yeah,
so kudos
you
to
don't
Texas.
mind, let me break in and help you out because they grabbed Stephon Diggs this offseason, Danielle Hunter, Joe Mixon, running back, Danico Autry, very underrated defensive tackle, cornerback they grabbed off of the Lions, Jeff Okudah, another cornerback, C.J. Henderson, defensive tackle, Tim Settle, defensive tackle, Foley Fatukasi, I think that's the name of it, and a punter. Man, they have done their thing, man, and I think that roster went from pretty good to almost, I got to say, it's impressive now.
It is definitely impressive. You add that running back and a Danielle Hunter to the other side of Will Anderson, and there's going to be problems in the AFC. It's about that simple. Add on top of that Stephon Diggs, oh boy. It just brings that veteran presence and surefire catch case scenario to that offense. But I would not be do not underestimate the Houston Texans in 2024. With that roster, it's legit. Bishop?
Looky here, I'm going to put it to you just point blank, period. Talk about a team that knows who their identity is and what they want it to be. You know, they already took on the identity of their head coach, but now they're really putting an exclamation point on who they are. And they're putting a mark on both sides of the ball to let everybody know that on the offensive side, we plan on stretching the field. We plan on adding some speed. We talking about some sure hands with regard to our receivers. And they're adding with the addition of Mixon in terms of as far as the running game. They're looking to truly attack, and defensively, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to get after the quarterback. They definitely plan on putting wide receivers on notice. Ain't going to be no easy catches out there in that backfield, man. They are definitely going to be getting at it. This is when you're building a team. That's why I've been saying for the longest, it's all about identity. What is your identity? This team knows what its identity is. They went after it in the offseason, and I can't wait to see what they do in terms of the draft, man. This team is not playing. They're going to make a strong push in the AFC. You might say the AFC South right now is theirs. You know, I don't see nobody really threatening them in the AFC South, and they're getting ready to make a push within the AFC. Right now, they're definitely contenders. I won't necessarily say that I put them in the Super Bowl, but they're definitely contenders in the AFC. That's for doggone sure. Tim Bears, what you think, brother?
Before we go to 10 Bears, I just want to hit this quick super chat from FFG style. Thanks for the super FFG. $2 ain't gonna fix Brian's internet though. We need we need to start a whole fund. Just want to put that out there. Anyhow, fix Brian's internet. It's a whole thing. We'll do it. Anyhow, 10 Bears. 10 Bears. What's up?
We could dig it. It's like this what makes the season and the beginning of it looks, it's beautiful because I tell everybody, man, it's like whether, I don't know if you go back in the day, we used to have a movie called Cannonball Run, or we used to have it where you had, Hanna-Barbera, where everybody got their own little hot rods and they getting ready to get in this race. So the Texans is like right there. They didn't reload it. They ready to go for it. It's this their time. You get on a rookie contract, and man, you got them 2, 3, and 4 years. It's time to go for it and get it. That's where like even with us. And so they found they diamond with C.J. Stroud. Now they just they added up the rest of the little seasonings in there. They about to be ready to start cooking. So the Miko ready to do his thing too. So
time out. 2, 3, 4 years. This year, bro, they were in the playoffs last year.
Well, this is year 2 for them. Last year, when they started you got year 1, year 2, year 3. Just like when you was in high school, baby. That first year you freshman, you don't know what to do. By second time you sophomore, junior, senior, you can start cutting class and start getting funky with it.
Oh, that's exactly how mine went. It went downhill though. Don't take that 10 Bears advice.
It's fun now, hey,
go to class. Go to class.
Go to class. Yeah. Don't follow my advice. Yeah, school of hard knocks. Yeah, don't listen to me.
What say you, Shawn?
It's cool to stay in school. Just remember that. Remember that.
No doubt.
What's next, Nancy Reagan? Don't say no to drugs. Go ahead.
Well, my husband, never mind. So there you go. We'll break off into a snowfall conversation. That's
okay.
That's another one. Yeah, I like it, man. You know what? You get a legit number 1 receiver. All right, what look what it did for our quarterback last year. I mean, look at all the other quarterbacks they have. Legit number 1s. All right, they have legit number 1s. So now C.J. Stroud has a legit number 1. The only issue is his attitude is what I'm worried about. All right, is he going to get funky? Is he going to get crazy if things don't go his way? What if the ball isn't always thrown his way? Is he going to start complaining and whining and crying? That's something you got to deal with. All right, you got
talking Diggs.
Yeah, and so what's going to happen? Is he going to go in there feeling entitled because he is Stephon Diggs and I should get every ball thrown or I should be the first option? That doesn't necessarily work. And you got Bobby Slowick there who's going to make the quarterback go through his reads. And so I just hope that he for someone as good as him, for him to be on his third team says something to me, so don't be a problem. You've been gifted a new life here to go with a young quarterback, really good defense, a really good play caller. You're in a really good situation. Don't screw it up being selfish.
Shawn, I gotta just before you go, Brandon, I gotta say this. I think in both situations, and I mean both situations, I'm not saying that he didn't have any kind of culpability in why or why not he was traded. But both situations, I think Minnesota and I think Buffalo, I think they gave it their best shots and they maxed out. I think they both maxed out. Both teams maxed out. Minnesota for sure with that roster that they had. I think they just really topped off. And I thought that, during the season, this was Buffalo's window to get it based on their salary cap situation, some of the monies they had tied up in all these different players. I thought this year was a make it or break it kind of season. And I think I was right. I think that window is now closed. I think he knows that. I'm not saying, again, Shawn, I'm not saying that he didn't have any culpability, but I think him and his agent might have been smart by doing this and seeing the writing on the wall and getting the hell on out of there. And found a trade partner. I don't know how, you could see obvious struggle with him and the quarterback and the coach, and he didn't like what was going on there. That was obvious. You could see that on the TV. But I think it's a really good move for him to get out of there in both of those situations. It was perfect timing. But now he lands in the most optimal situation in Houston. I think he's going to ball out, and I think DeMeco Ryans is the perfect coach for him. Well, go ahead, Brandon.
I agree with you, and I like the new kid that you guys got on the block, man. He's talking about spices. He's talking about food. I tell you what, though, I'm linking up with him, man. I like what he's saying, but here's one thing: you can try to be the man, but you aren't the man when it comes to being the man. What we've got Ryan Poles in the building. He's already done this, and I'll tell you right now, our guy in Keenan Allen. I like that trade with a 4th round, a lot better than this 1st round pick. I tell you that. You can try to be the man, but you ain't the man. And Pole's already did it. You ain't going to get all his 11 herbs and spices. You can go ahead and try to be him, but you ain't him. So he's got a lot more up his sleeve. Everybody wants to be my GM, but he's the only GM, baby.
Man, amen to that, man. I got to keep trusting him. You know, I don't like everything he's done so far, obviously, but I got to keep trusting him, man. I think he's got a good, solid plan. You know, it's not everything that I would have done, you know, if I was him, but I'm an unprofessional podcaster. You know what I mean? And I know my role and my place. You know, I'm not trying to pretend to be one on TV.
Know your role, jabroni, and shut your mouth.
That's right. I'm a podcaster, and I'm glad to be one. But hey, look, man, I had this thought, guys. I want to see how you guys feel about it. But I have a strong indication inside of me that says that trade for Stephon Diggs might trigger a cascading effect on some of these, you know, the draft order. I think it might trigger a trade-up scenario because it's a lot of teams that want those receivers and offensive tackles in the top end of the draft, and that's what I'm thinking. Chris has an illustration of, you know, where they are, but Kedz, give me, what do you think about that? You know, who do you think might be willing to move quickly, given that trade for Stephon Diggs?
I'm not sure how you're framing this here. Like, there's clear folks who are going to move up for quarterbacks. I'm not sure if anybody's moving up for a wide receiver. That's my thoughts there. I think they'll let the wide receivers fall.
OT too, offensive tackle too. Yeah, you got to think about that. We'll give you some time to think about it. We give you some time.
I have a strange feeling that offensive tackle will, like, right now, what we're looking at, if you just look at these first 10 teams, we're looking at the Jets, got a quarterback. Bears drafting a quarterback. Atlanta has a quarterback. Tennessee, shaky but has a quarterback. New York Giants may be in the quarterback market. Chargers, not in the quarterback market. Arizona, not in the quarterback market. New England quarterback market. Washington quarterback market. Now, you know, the other direction, Minnesota quarterback market, Denver quarterback market, Vegas quarterback market, New Orleans potentially also quarterback market. So all of these teams between oh boy, man, between 16 and 10 are all interested in some sort of leverage and spending some capital to maybe trade.
Hey, hold back on the chat for a second, Brian, while we look at this for a little bit.
But yeah, that's sort of what you're looking at. There's a big chunk. There's about 6 teams there that would be interested. Again, we know 3 of those 4 quarterbacks are basically already taken. You know, who they are and where they fall, that remains to be seen. But yeah, Chicago's going to likely take Caleb Williams without, you know, with barring some sort of craziness. You're looking at Washington, who's looking at either Jaden Daniels or Drake May, perhaps, maybe even J.J. McCarthy. Same answer for New England. There's really one more quarterback who's going to fall, so somebody's going to likely trade down to get him. I'm thinking that guy is either the Minnesota Vikings, who have the capital to do it.
By the way, kids, just so you know, I just read just now that the Vegas is having it. They're visiting right now with Michael Penix Jr.
Okay.
That's the smartest thing in the world that they could do, right? Like it's the smartest thing in the world that they could do. Look at QB5, because again, that saves them capital, right? If the first 4 guys go early, Minnesota drops their pants, makes some sort of crazy trade to somebody, gets in front, gets their quarterback, then Vegas can do the Penix thing. Now that might be flipped around. It might be Vegas who trades down and gets the opportunity, because here's the other thing. With Chicago at 9, Chicago and or Ryan Poles can or should maybe play a little bit of defense in this draft, right? You don't really want Minnesota to get their quarterback, do you? So, right, a trade with either Denver or Vegas or even New Orleans, like, it should be under consideration outside of just
talking about at pick 9, right?
Say again?
You talking about
at pick 9.
Yeah.
Like this should be in consideration. That trade back should be in consideration, if only to mess up one of the 3 competing teams within your division. I'll leave that out there. I'll let it hang, and I'll throw it down to my guy Bishop.
So looking at this list, I can tell you right now, the first 3 teams, as we know, are definitely going to be taking quarterbacks. I can see Arizona trading back, honestly, if somebody wants to come up to that 4th slot to get a QB. Otherwise, they're going to take a receiver. The Chargers is going to take the first offensive tackle off the doggone board. You can guarantee you that. Harbaugh, his history from Stanford to 49ers back to Michigan, he always builds in the trenches. So the first offensive tackle will go to the Chargers. Now, the Giants, not quite sure what they want to do, if they're going to go QB or they're going to try to address some other issues that they have. They got a lot of holes to fill as well. Tennessee has their quarterback. They got Will Levis. That's who they're turning the reins over to. That's who they're going to rock with. Atlanta's got their quarterback. I'm with you, Kedz, at that number 9 slot. If I can trade back with either Denver, Las Vegas, heck, for that matter, even Seattle, if they want to come up and get a QB, I'm doing that. So I can get me so I can get some additional draft capital, but more importantly, hopefully they're taking somebody that Minnesota has their eye on, a la Michael Penix or Bo Nix or whoever it could be, So I'm with you on that, and I'm also a big advocate for them to trade back just so they can get some additional draft capital, because what holes that they're looking to fill, they can afford to go down to probably no further than 15 or 16 and be safe in being able to get who they want to be able to get that they were going to get with that 9th pick.
Right.
So, the Jets got their quarterback. I mean, it makes sense to me for them to take that 9th pick, trade back, and get some draft capital. What you think, 10 Bears?
Man, like I said, it's going to be a lot of movement. You don't know really where anybody can pivot, because if you're in the laboratory and you cooking up and you plan on making you a monster, there's a lot of different ingredients you could use right here. I can see a lot of teams, Buffalo, now that they send a wide receiver, they got to get one. So they're going, and the best wide receivers, at the top. So you don't know what their move can be. Definitely with Las Vegas. Hey, it's a lot of teams. Seattle, it's a lot of teams. I can see it, Minnesota. Minnesota, you're not really going to be able to stop nobody from getting their money this year. It's too many players out there. So everything is open. The gates is open. It's a whole new world out there. Everybody going to be trying to make a push. Even the Rams. Hell, the Rams, if you just lose Aaron Donald, Stafford can't play forever. So you got to look at that. Pittsburgh, they missing one top-notch super wide receiver. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a crazy draft. That 9th pick, I don't even know if Poles is in position to even move that no more, because we need some depth. We need another piece. I think he's gonna probably, from the way they acted crazy at the combine, I think they looking at one of them defensive ends. So, and if you move too far out, you can't get Verse or Turner. So it's tight, man. It's tight. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a crazy draft.
Go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited for it. It's going to be really interesting. There's just so many different rumors, so many different possibilities. The talk of the Chargers jumping up, trading with the Bears, to get Justin Herbert goes to the Bears. Justin Herbert goes to the Bears. and then they draft JJ McCarthy. That rumor, which I think is, very, very, very slim chance of that even materializing, but that's something I've heard. And then you got everybody wants to jump up and get these quarterbacks. So I don't know, man. I'm excited to see how it plays out. All right, I'm really excited to see how it plays out, and I mean it makes a lot of sense for the Bears. I mean, Arizona already said they're shopping their pick, so it's that's they've come out and said that.
Who
But yeah,
said, who
Arizona
said that? Oh,
Cardinals.
Okay.
Yeah, they're
They're
shopping their pick.
number 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they came out a couple weeks ago.
That is true.
So they're not locked in on Marvin Harrison Jr. then.
They're
Nope.
locked. They are shopping their pick.
That could have been a pump fake too.
I don't feel that it
think so.
is because they traded out of the 23 as well already with Minnesota. Minnesota got their 23. So maybe they are trading the fourth back. I thought they would have traded the 23 because they were locked in on that wide receiver being MHJ. Weird. I don't know what they're doing over there.
Well, you see with the with this trade today, Marvin Harrison Jr. his stock, I ain't gonna say it's probably fell a little bit, but he already giving you them vibes like, man, he gonna be trying to kind of, run things. And so maybe they sitting like Stephon Diggs today. Wide receivers are always gonna be divas. So it's it come along with the territory. So, they might be trying to go ahead and move out to that. And then they ain't gonna try to go too far though, because they're gonna probably want Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr.
Go ahead, Shawn, you didn't get to finish.
No, that's fine.
All right. Well, Brandon, what do you see here, man? What comes to mind?
Well, I like how everything's going. I could definitely see where we would trade back to gain draft capital. They said that this draft might rival the 2008 draft where they had 8 first-round offensive linemen, and they think that this draft will actually break that. And then you've got 5 to 6 quarterbacks that are going to go in the first round, and then obviously these receivers. So I could definitely see where someone would try to give you quite a bit in order to move up. But if we're going to take the North and never give it back, and this is our season of 10 wins, we might not be in this position unless we trade something to get this draft capital in the following year. We won't have a top 10 pick. So you have to look at yourself and structure yourself in this dynamic this year, because my mom always used to do a little bit more with what she had less. I had five brothers, 3 sisters growing up. Me being the adopted one, I always kept an eye on the food, and the one thing that she did well was stretch stuff out. So we, when we had a little bit of Robitussin, she added some water to it and made it Motussin. And when she took Kool-Aid and we didn't have a lot of sugar, she just put a little sugar, and you could taste that. You could taste the lack of, and I never said nothing because she would have backhanded me. But, the thing about it is, though, you taste the lack of flavor after a while. And I think this is what we need in this draft. We need the flavor. We need the substance. And we need to get this 9th pick. We need to get two top 10 picks in this draft, because it might be a while before the Bears are in this position ever again.
I'll tell you real quick, guys. And we got to move to another subject here, but here's where I see it getting interesting, and it's after number 11, after pick 11. Minnesota could be in this conversation about moving up, and I'm talking strictly receiver right now. And why I think the Bears are I think this kind of ups the ante on them probably having to take a receiver early and keep that 9th pick. That's just my opinion and what I think they ought to do, get that weapon.
Minnesota?
Not Minnesota. I'm talking about the Bears. I'm talking about where it gets in the trade up scenario to try to get up there and get one of those elite receivers. I could see Minnesota in that game. Definitely see Denver in that game. They pretty much have to get a receiver. Vegas, I think they're a quarterback needy team, but I can see a move for a receiver as well. Definitely New Orleans and Indianapolis. Both lost grade A receivers this offseason. So I think that cascade for the trade up and trying to move up and get position to get one of those receivers, I'm telling you, I think those stakes just went up. And I think it went up in a major way. And I expect, and I'm just me being an unprofessional, I expect to see something happen soon here with some guys some teams trying to move up and get in position to get those guys. I think those receivers are that dynamite out there that teams are gonna kind of lose too much to get up in there and get position. And I think it's going to be crazy to see how it plays out. But I digress. Let me kick off another conversation because I don't know if you guys heard about this. One of our guys, Eddie Goldman, comes out of retirement to sign with the Falcons.
What?
Yes, out of retirement. He's right back there with Pace. Pace got him out of retirement, man. I quite frankly, Brandon, I think I thought a lot of Eddie Goldman. We didn't get everything we could have out of Eddie Goldman, and he retired early. But I do think there is a lot of meat on the bone when that guy is motivated to play. You know, maybe that year off, maybe that's what he needed, kids. Maybe Eddie Goldman can bring something to the table for the Falcons.
That was just 1 year. That was a long year, man. Sorry.
It's out of left field. I'm kind of. I want to see what kind of shape he's coming back in. Like, is he coming back ready to go? Like, and I say that because it was not a question of his talent or capabilities on the field. It was really a question as to want to, right? Like, did he really want to play anymore? Or did he want to do it the following year? Does he want to do it now? Right. So I'd like to see him fully worked out, cut up, and ready to rock and roll. He could be he could be a real people mover on that Atlanta squad. That Atlanta squad is starting to look nicer and nicer as the closer we get to the draft. We'll see what it looks like when they're done too. Who's up next? Bishop?
Yeah. So I laugh at this because as far as I'm concerned, Eddie Goldman hasn't gotten a lot out of Eddie Goldman. You know, maybe he should have a special contract where he plays a year, takes a year off, come back, play a year, take a year off, and play another year. That seems to be his MO. He's done it. He did it with us. I mean, does the guy want to play football or not is what it really comes down to. One thing I will say, he has a way of getting paid. So I'm not mad at him with that. I guess he took kind of a page out of his new quarterback's book in terms of being able to finesse the GMs to get paid. And then we know Ryan Pace he'll give away anything. Heck, he'll give away the farm, he'll give away contracts, he'll give away money. If he could give away a Brinks truck, he'll do that too. So hey, good luck to him, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Good luck to him. If Eddie Goldman's in shape, then they'll get a good Eddie Goldman. If he's not, they'll get the same Eddie Goldman that was just sitting at home on the couch. What you think, Tim Bears?
I'm gonna show some love to EG, man. Hey, can't knock the hustle. You gotta respect anybody who could play it that way. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, sometimes you gotta do that. Sometimes you gotta step back because it's hard to heal in an injury. You know what I'm saying? In the NFL, when you got them injuries, you might need a year off to fully let everything go. And if he ain't chasing the paper like that, he said, hey, I'm gonna go back to the crib and retool. Sometimes you gotta go back and lick your wounds and just patch up, get that steak, put it on the eye, fix your face up, then come back. You might, back in our day, we have best out of 7. We could fight Monday, take a couple weeks later, come back, fight another day. Yeah, sometimes you gotta pace yourself. So, as long as he got that 6'3", about 3 plus frame, he still got that. He might still be worth something. He worth something out there. He got the technique. It wasn't never he couldn't play. So he probably stepped back, and like I said, Atlanta got some weapons, so he could jump in there, give him. He not predicted to play a whole lot of snaps, but to just come in there, run stop, run support, pressure a little bit here and there. So saying I ain't gonna knock the man. You know what I'm saying? He did his thing. Who knows if it's in the tank or if it's not? You know what I'm saying? That's how it is sometimes. So you know what I'm saying? What about you? What do you think, SuperBack?
2 years off because I'm checking it out. He was with us from 2015 to 2021. So 22 and 23 seasons he did not play. It's a long time. Maybe he's 30. He just turned 30 in January. Okay. 2 years out, 30 years old. Tim Bears, you're right though. You do get a chance to heal up big time, so he should be 100% healthy.
Yeah, he probably has
I
some
think
bills
I
to
think
pay.
it's he might have a certain lifestyle. He might have child support. He might have just to keep it real. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's a good flyer to take. I think it's a good flyer to take for Atlanta, and because as some people have alluded to or said earlier, if he's man half the player he was when he was here, man, that's at worst a rotational player, a good solid rotational player at worst. That's what you're getting, and a fully healed one. Yeah, it's a good flyer. It's a good flyer. B.
You know, I was excited when we got Eddie back in the day. Honestly, after we lost Tommy, we were kind of in that limbo of what's going to happen next. So I was excited about him. And then that I don't know if you guys remember it, and I'm not sure if I'm remembering correctly, but I think Eddie got a little freaked out because of that COVID, and he took a whole year off because of that. So then he elected to come back, and then when he started back up, he immediately retired thereafter. So we didn't even get to see him come back full strength after that. So who knows what's going on. But I tell you what, Ten Bear, you keep talking about steaks and food and everything. I've already robbed my son's Easter egg candy a couple times today.
Hey,
happy, man. You get me hungry, bro. You get me hungry.
Let me just warn all of you guys, like the Superback's on a super fast right now. So we probably super hungry. So let's
go to fast again, man.
Yeah,
I made sure not to bring any donuts to the table this week. We'll try to refrain from food references moving forward.
Food is universal.
I'll have something tomorrow. Trust me, on camera. Like stupid. All you want? Go.
All right, hey kids, help me out as I talk real quick because I think Brian's he's got some lag going on. But here's a couple of quick notes, real quick. And we'll stop because this one's gonna pull Chris out from the back. He loves this guy like I do. But Julian Blackman re-signed with the Colts safety. Julian Blackman. Chiefs signed Clyde Edwards-Helaire, re-signed him. It was some bad words being said about old Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and maybe somebody might want to speak to that. Also the Lions were able to re-sign, I believe, what's his name? Brock Wright, tight end. They matched an offer sheet given by the 49ers. So the 49ers offered 3 years, $12 million to get this guy, and they had restrictive rights. I think it's a UFA or something like that, or I don't know how the thing goes, but the Lions were able to match that and keep that tight end. It was a big piece of what they did. And so anybody want to speak to any one of those three guys, go right ahead.
No, I'm good.
Nah.
No, nobody's.
I think like we were saying earlier with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like that's the whole thing, man. It's all right to make up. Sometimes you break up to make up. Sometimes it's all right to, hey, you can get them on a price. Hey, like James Brown said, it's cheaper to keep them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you guys just go back home and just say, I'm sorry. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire wanted to go out there for a minute, say, come back. Blackman's decent little pickup. You see, right now the NFL is just about getting the value. If you get something at a discount, hey, ain't nothing wrong with it.
Nothing at all, man. Here's something you guys might like to talk about. I don't know if Kendall Vildor re-signs with the Lions. And I don't know that's Kendall Vildor was Kendall Vildor with the Bears.
That's surprising.
I always felt like the minute we got him, he's going to be the perfect slot corner, but they kept trying to force him to be a boundary corner, which is really not the ideal spot for him. His quick twitch ability in the slot, that's a whole different game in the slot. That's a whole different cornerback game in the slot. And I thought his abilities were suited to play slot, but they kept forcing him to, I don't know if it was injuries or whatever the circumstances were, but they kept trying to force him to play boundary corner. And he kept, he didn't have a good time out there, and I didn't think they played him enough in the slot. I think the Lions are getting the best out of him, and I just want to say big up to Kendall Vildor. Anybody want to speak to that, they can.
That one I'll touch a little bit because he got
Ooh.
burned.
Playing boundary
Kedz
corner.
got-
Kedz playing boundary corner.
I'm just saying he got burned up last season with the Lions, especially in that playoff game. He was exposed. I'm kind of surprised that they went with him, but then again, they've also lost Jeff Okudah. They need to have somebody back there. So don't get it twisted if the Lions go ahead and get a DB this season. To be honest with you, this draft that they should probably get 2. But I'll leave that for Brad Holmes / Don Burr in the chat. He gonna hate me for doing that again.
But all right, let's move on. This because I don't think anybody wants to touch that from here on. So the Bears are visiting. I'm not saying visiting. They have the O-line group is out there at Yale, scouting out Kieran Abadeji. He is a 6'5", 318-pound offensive tackle from Yale. I said that right. He's from Hinsdale, Illinois. He probably played at Hinsdale South. But this cat, man, I'm telling you, he's impressive. And I'm guessing this is the number 22 prospect. I'm thinking they thinking 122 if they get there and he's still on the board and they haven't gotten the tackle that they're looking for. I think he's another impressive piece. He's an impressive pass blocker, very impressive. And
What's his name again, please?
Kieran Abadeji. Imadeji. Yeah, I think I got that right. Imadeji, yep. You want me to spell it? I can write it in the chat.
Yeah, so I can check it out and see.
Right in the chat. But anybody want? He's got 36-inch arms, man. His arms are incredible, man.
Oh, I was gonna say 30-inch. That was short. You said 30 first. I'm like 30.
I don't know that Hinsdale area, but I know those. They put out some pretty good talent in that area.
Hinsdale Central, they're good too. Yeah.
Go ahead. Anybody want to touch on that?
They was checking him out at the Senior Bowl, wasn't they?
Yeah,
I was going to say that. Yeah,
I think he. Go ahead.
You got to shake all the trees, man. I don't have a problem with them checking them out, man. I mean, again, we got a limited number of picks, man. So every pick got to count at this point. So they need to make sure that they're meeting with who they need to meet with. They're evaluating who they need to evaluate, what they need to evaluate, and because you're at a point now with these picks that you got to hit on every one. So I'm cool with it, man. I'm just waiting. I can't wait for draft day now. I'm ready to get to draft day.
So I just posted it in the chat, Shawn. That's his name, Kieran Abadeji from Yale, offensive tackle. He's got some good traits. He kind of reminds you of Braxton Jones a little bit, but I can see more of an upside in his bottom half, which I always talk about down here, man. The trunk. And you know what, Brandon? You know what? You're an offensive tackle. Yeah. I talk about this all the time. I am way out of my league. I'm just now learning how to scout offensive tackles. The last couple of years, my offensive line friends have been helping me out. But what do you think about Braxton Jones being a starting left tackle? Do you think he has what it takes from the bottom up?
I'd like to move him inside. Honestly, I don't think he's doing half bad, but I think he would venture off in a better situation with a guy like Rodgers or QB like that can fire away when he sees something off the edge. But I think he's pretty decent. I'd put him in 20 to 25 range in the league, but that could be closing pretty quick after the end of this year, this draft. You know what I'm saying? I heard a lot of guys are going to be instant starters, and by the end of the year, they could pass him up, and then he could be the back end of the whole. You know what I'm saying? I'd like to see him move inside. I think you need to be a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and you're absolutely right. He doesn't have enough junk in the trunk. He can't, drop his hips. He can't square up. His technique is off. He's good at run blocking, and Olin said it right on my podcast, dude. Run left every time. And after he said that, man, I watched just big old chunks plays. Whenever we ran left, man, it was automatic, like 2, 3, 4 yards at least we were getting. So I think he's a good run blocker. I'm just not sold on him as far as his technique goes as a pass blocker, and you ultimately need to have that at the left tackle position.
Okay. So while you go ahead, Bishop.
I just got a quick quick question for Tracks. So
What's up, buddy?
when they tell the women to do squats to add more junk to the trunk, is it
Yeah.
possible he can do more squats to add more junk to his trunk?
Oh, absolutely. And it'd be strength in the squats. I think back in the day, especially you guys, Nomad and you, Bishop, Mr. Bishop, you guys know that back in the day, they thought us big uglies, we just need to eat a lot, just put the weight on. And then later on, like the NFL realized that you could be smaller, but your muscles can be bigger. Two things can be true at the same time. So it wasn't that you have to weigh a lot in order to push your weight. You follow what I'm saying? So I think that's where the trend is going. Guys are stronger, guys are bigger, but they're like smaller too, in the sense that, if you got, what is it, like this much
So
muscle,
they're leaner, but they got more muscle mass.
yeah, and I just don't think he has a lot of strength. Like I've heard Nomad say on the podcast a few times at least, and maybe some of you guys too, but especially Nomad, that he just doesn't have that lower body strength.
Okay.
While I
Thanks
got
for
you
clearing
talking
that up.
about O-lineman, man, while I got you talking about O-lineman, have you checked out Graham Barton, offensive tackle from Duke?
Yeah.
Okay, so just found out that he's in for a 30 visit. I got some. I like his film, man. I really like his film. I believe he's going to end up being an interior offensive lineman, but just knowing the fact that he's offensive tackle versatile, I think just makes him a little bit more valuable. And I can see why they will be bringing him in for a visit. What did you like about Graham Barton? He's let me give off his measurables, by the way. I think he is 6'5". No. Where is the rest of it at? 315. 6'5", 315. Go ahead, Brandon.
I like the fact that he's versatile, that he can move in and out. I like his hands. I like the fact that like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but it's pretty simple. It's not, we're not rocket scientists, okay? It's called like a hook block, where you position your body and you can move the other person's body. And sometimes, depending on where your pressure is coming in, I've seen him do that, and I really like that. I think that speaks where you're kind of setting yourself up before the play even takes place. You know what I'm saying? Like he's forward thinking into what are you going to do and how I'm going to counter that. And when I see little techniques like that, that lets me know that you're firing on some cylinders up there. You're thinking, you know what I mean?
Hey, by the way, Brandon, Facebook user here, welcome Facebook user, said he would love to see him at FT and get a stud LT. And Jenkins got put back on the right and back on the right with Wright, and they were killing it and find our center. That's the beautiful thing about Graham Barton. He started off the last two seasons starting left tackle. I think he's all ACC both those years, but he had to finish this year with the last 6 or 7 games because of injury at center. So he played his last 6 or 7 games at center and played well. And so me saying all of that, Brandon saying all of that, and that versatility we were just talking about, you can see why they value him.
Oh, yeah. And until you get your offensive line right and you've got a lot of holes, you have to structurally put yourself up into that position. And that's why I don't think that they're going to try to entirely move off of Braxton yet, because he's multi-purpose, multifunctional. And I could see a guy like Grant coming in and definitely being that, stopgap in a couple different positions until you get all those holes filled in. I like a guy like that. It makes a lot of sense instead of just a guy like an alt who would just cover that left tackle and that's all he would do. Not saying that's a bad thing, but I could definitely see their point where you want somebody with that flexibility to move in and out. You know what I'm saying, Nomad?
That's right. That's right, man.
Also,
go ahead, Tim.
My bad. I was going to quick little dime note. I was watching a little write-up. They had a little piece on the NFL Network this morning. There's a lot of guys, because the NFL is kind of semi-international too, and a lot of guys, from rugby, a lot of other different, even the NFL's Europe program. I don't know if places like Belisco might have some plugs with them, but it's some offensive linemen and some other players that are being scouted right now, that that are under the radar. Everybody looking up under the rocks. This is this Easter egg hunting. Everybody looking everywhere to find some players, and they got some players coming in that we're gonna be watching like, who is this? And he part of some, exchange program or some Euro program or some rugby or something. And I think they had Scott Pioli or somebody on. It was like 3 or 4 guys that was like 6'7", 6'8", 320, 330. And that was just so, it's a lot out there. Some, some on the radar, some not.
So real quick, guys, we're gonna take a quick station ID, but before we do that, just to put this on your mind, I seen a word is out there in the streets that the Chiefs are in conversations with the 49ers to grab Brandon Ayuk. But we'll just give that thought. Think about that for a second, and we'll get on the other side of the station ID.
Yeah, Rashee Rice ain't showing up anytime soon, so.
The best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff and Nomad at night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
That is right, you guys. Anybody new to the channel? If this is your first time into the show, welcome to the family. We appreciate you being here, man. Love you for being a part of the show, man. Please hit the like button and hit the subscribe for both our channels, all 3 of these. So I got 3 of them to shout out. The Nomad Network, plus Sports Zone Chicago, and also Chicago Sports Podcast with my guy Brandon Hyatt, aka Trax. Make sure you show some love to all of us, man. It costs you nothing to like and let the YouTube algorithm know that you like this content and it's out there. That's all it does. That's what the like does for you. But the subscription is painless and it's cost free. And we need to say that more often because there's a lot of dummies out there like I was when I first got into this Chicago Bear space that thought that when you subscribe to some channel or something like content that you like, it costs you money. I was dumb enough to believe that. I didn't know. I was new to it all, and I thought that I pulled back from subscribing to a bunch of stuff because I thought it cost money. But once I knew it was cost free, and what would I do? What would I look like watching someone's content all the time and not even doing them the favor of giving them subs? How hard is that, man? So please do us all 3 a favor: the Nomad Network, Sports Zone Chicago, and Chicago Bears Podcast. If you have not, man, please give us a subscription. We would really appreciate that, you guys. But let's get back
Chicago
to the
Sports Podcast. Nomad Chicago Sports Podcast.
Okay, Chicago Sports Podcast. I might have got that wrong. I'm
talking
Chicago
Bears.
My mouth was moving too fast. I apologize for that, Brandon. Hey man, let's talk about this Brandon Ayuk story about the Chiefs maybe in conversation with the 49ers about scooping him up. We know, Kedz, for a fact that he's not happy in in Frisco. So that's out there. They know they need to do something with him. And looking from the looks of it, the Chiefs might be getting a little bit richer.
Man, I tell you what. Was that for me or was that for Canuck? I'm sorry.
You know what, Brandon, you go, bro, because our heads are probably right in the same place.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break. I thought he said Brandon. I could have been wrong. What do you call it? I like IU more than I like Rice. That doesn't mean that one is better than the other, but I'm kind of wondering what the Niners are thinking by moving on with IU. I thought he was a good fit in San Fran. So was there any draft? Did you say what they got for it, the compensation?
They haven't moved them yet. They're just in conversation.
Oh, in conversation. Okay. So maybe they're trying to get younger in the draft or something, or there's something behind the scenes that we don't know about. I thought IU is a good fit over there, man. Honestly, in San Fran, but holy cow, man! If they get that guy, I think that's an instant upgrade.
Go ahead, Kedz.
Yeah. Long story short. They need to do something at the wide receiver position, and they've been trying to do it for the last few years. Man, Kadarius Toney didn't work out. Rashee Rice worked out. I thought he was a fantastic selection by them. Really fit the bill, helped them win a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, young and dumb kind of kicks in sometimes, right? We all do dumb stuff when we were younger.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Then that's a little excuse I'll give him. Unfortunately, the excuse is negated by the amount of money he makes. You know, if I was young and dumb and rich, a lot of my dumbness would have been negated by richness, right? So, anyway, moving forward, that's what they need to do. They need to find a wide receiver, and at this point, they're so far back in the draft that you might as well pay. So, I don't. This is a great move for the Chiefs, and San Francisco is starting to bleed a little bit. You know. Hopefully, the rest of the NFC teams can start to really catch up to where they were this past season, and bump them out. Hopefully, one of those teams is this team. Bishop.
Well, I was doing some quick research regarding Ayuk, and there's been a couple different teams attached to him in potential trade talks. Kansas City being one, the Pittsburgh Steelers being another. But what it really comes down to, I think what's really going on is that's being thrown out there. And I would say more that's probably being thrown out there by his agent, because right now there's a little contention between his team and the 49ers regarding trying to come to an agreement on a number as far as negotiations within his contract. And I do know prior to a couple weeks ago, there was I can't recall the team whose name was out there regarding. I think it might have been Buffalo, whose name was attached to him as well. And what they were asking for in terms of compensation for IU was just outrageous. So that fell apart right away. So and according to what I've been reading here, while you guys were talking, it seems like Lynch is really not looking to trade him. He wants to try to work out a deal with Ayuk, but in the event, we all know there's always some form of compensation to make a GM move off of that player if it just happens to make sense to him. So we'll just play it by ear. But me personally, I don't see Kansas City giving up a lot to get him. Especially when they still got Rice. I know what Rice did was ultimately stupid, but other than him maybe being suspended for a couple games, I don't see them moving off from him unless something else comes out of this whole shenanigans that took place over the weekend. But we'll see. But I don't know, man. I just think it's a lot of talk. I just think it's a lot of talk. What you think? What you think, Tim Bears?
Hey man, the NFL, like they say, what the NFL stands for, not for long. So you better have your contingency plans up. It's always about they don't fail to plan, they plan to fail. So, who knows what to go on with any of this? But like I said, it's the agents probably positioning, making a little move. But this is, if wide receiver is the new running back, man, this is the draft to get you some wide receivers, because this going three rounds deep. That you can get it's like you can get a WMD out here. You can get a real bona fide top-notch wide receiver somewhere in them 3 rounds, because everybody can't get everybody. So you know what I'm saying? And then also too, people want to play with Kansas City. Man, you got Pat Mahomes, you got Andy Reid. Man, you're gonna get the ball. Hey, they ain't got no good cafeteria, but they're a damn sure a good team. You know what I'm saying? So hey, a lot of people want to go to Kansas City. So, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no hard sell for your agent to sit up there and be like, hey, you want to go to Kansas City? Yeah, sure. Let me see what I could do. So,
go ahead, Shawn.
I think it's a good pickup. You also wonder, though, how he can.
I don't know if I said that. They haven't gotten in there in talks.
Oh, I think it's a good pickup if it happens.
All right.
But you also got to see, would he be the wide receiver number 1? I don't know if he's a true number 1. I think, him in San Francisco, they kind of shared that, there was maybe no true number 1. There was just a lot of weapons. And when you go from being part of a team, all right, where no one really focuses on you, to being a number 1, and defenses are focused on stopping you, that's a whole nother story. Mm-hmm. So if it does go down, they definitely need to still draft someone in the draft, because you don't know how. I mean, hell, look at Alvin Harper. Remember Alvin Harper with the Cowboys? All right, he was a great number 2 with Michael Irvin, and he goes and gets the who was you? Who?
Redskins.
Alvin Harper went to the Redskins.
Yeah, with North Turner. Yeah.
Okay, and so he was going to be wide receiver number 1 there, and it didn't really pan out for him like that. So, it's just be careful. I don't know if they do. They got to bring in another guy, and I think he's part of a good wide receiver room. I don't know if he's good at leading a wide receiver room. B.
Well said.
Hey, Nomad, really quick. I know I already spoke on this, but I do have one thing to say about that Rice situation really quick. Some new news came out if I can. It appears there was a camera that was, there present when the whole thing unfolded with the vehicle. And I guess the vehicle that he had was a rental for right under $2,000 a day. And in that contract, he was supposed to be the driver, and he wasn't, because the camera that was on the whole thing that took place with the vehicle, it showed him exiting out of the passenger, and it was the driver was definitely not Rice. So that's not something that would hold you back from playing in the NFL. Might embarrass the Shield a little bit, but I will tell you this much. There's going to definitely be some legal ramifications that the man's got to deal with throughout all this, on top of what's already transpired, man. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, I just hope, I'm glad to know that he wasn't driving the car. That's good to know. But still walking away from the scene of a crime is not responsible. Young people stuff, man. Young people
said
stuff.
He wasn't driving his car. That's what we got.
Hey, man. Hey, we've spent enough time on this. Trust me, kids. You know it. We're in an hour.
I'm just saying, I guess innocent until proven guilty, or vice versa.
Right. Let's just see how that goes. Real quickly, before we get out of this Brandon Ayuk conversation, I just wanted to reiterate, man. He let his feelings be known. Like, I don't know if it was his mom or himself. I think it was his mom. Like, let him out of San Francisco. I think their window has shut. Like I think Buffalo's has. And I believe that, I think he knows that. He was probably not targeted enough in that game. And I think that was a flaw of the coaching staff. And he wants out. And so what do? You want to keep a guy like that. He's valuable to your team. But what do? You can't keep that in your locker room knowing you've got all that discontentment and resentment about what happened there. You don't want to keep that in the locker room. So you got to go look for a trade partner if you can. And so you could understand why, they really may want to keep Brandon Ayuk. He's a great fit for them. But having to move on from him, I think it's a necessity because of, unless you can redeem that in some kind of way, which is possible, I guess. But, that's once they express that genie is kind of out of the bottle. And I think they're stuck with, the ramifications of that, both he and the team. So I think I think a trade is in order. How they get it done is anybody's idea. But what we came here to talk about, guys, is the number 75 pick. And what are the options at number 75? By the way, shout out to Coach T. I see you out there, my man. You should be on the panel too, man, but can't wait to get you on the show. Let's talk about the options at number 75. Right about now, I'm gonna call on my guy C Sharp, pull up his mock machine, and so we can see. We're gonna mock up and see what kind of players we're looking at number 75. Because as you saw on the thumbnail, you have Rook Ororo, you've got Jermaine Burton, and I believe there's Braylon Trice, who are all projected to be picked in that area. High quality talent. But is Chris still with us? I don't know if he is or not. Oh, here we go.
Looks that way.
You want to take over, Chris?
Man, how do you guys do this stuff? This is awesome.
Chris,
it's awesome the first 100 times you do it. All right, we're going to be going to the Pro Football Network draft, mock draft simulator. Let me get this full screen. Let me see. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to do go up to 75. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're just going to mock it up to 75 and see who's there.
Just go right to 7 and go. You'll get to 75 real quick. Doing 3.
So we know we're going to draft Caleb first. No, we ain't going to even listen to no offers. We know we're going to get him first.
Oh.
Yeah. I know, no fun, right, Bishop? We ain't having no fun. Nope, not even a little bit, because y'all get carried away with this stuff, man.
All right,
And we're gonna just for the hell of it, let's go ahead and take.
Well,
We already
while we're running through all that, send a little love to King Booker World for sending us a little love. Thanks for the super, King Booker. We appreciate
King
it, dog.
World.
All love to some of the chat and all the crew. Back after No Maniacs too. Love it, brother.
Appreciate that. Let's just go and grab. Let's grab a receiver just so we can get it out the way. Any receiver.
All the
Brock Bowers.
All the good ones are gone.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers is still there.
All right,
Brian Thomas is still
just grab Fuaga, man.
Get Brian Thomas. Get Brian Thomas.
Hey, man, come on, man. I knew we was gonna argue right here. Let's just get Fuaga and get it out the way. It doesn't mean that we're just trying to get
to have his Fuaga. Just give the man his Fuaga.
Yeah, give him his Fuaga.
Yeah, just get the 75. That's all we're trying to do.
Put sauce on that Fuaga.
Fuaga, y'all gonna be happy when he's a bear and knocking mugs on their behind, bro.
I'm not arguing about it. I just said just put some sauce on
I'm not
Fuaga.
sure how happy I'll be, but at the end of the day, I bet you Caleb Williams will be happy.
It ain't very sexy, but it's a need. All right, we zooming through here, man. I don't know. I haven't been looking hard enough to see if any of the guys on the
we ain't got no picks as it is, so we should be zooming.
What's going?
I'm trying to figure out if any of the guys that are on the thumb got picked up.
Rook won't be there at 75, according to this.
We'll see.
75 is what, the fourth pick?
There's Braylon Trice and Rook both went at the back to back.
Mm-hmm.
And then Adiza Isaac went right after that. So you're left with a Chris Braswell if you haven't looked at a defensive end or edge rusher. That's probably
hold on, guys.
He just went.
We're gonna let everybody get out their virtues and see.
Well, I wanted to point out Jermaine Burton was the other person on the thumbnail. He is still available.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, Kedz, we'll start with you. Who do you think is the best player available? Remember, we just grabbed the quarterback and we grabbed the old tackle. What are your virtues right here, and what do you think is the best available to us right now?
Scroll down for me, Chris, please. I just want to take a good stock.
Hopefully, everybody in the chat can see. Hopefully, you guys can see the names on the board.
A little more.
If not, we can shout some of them out if you guys need us to.
Okay. So, like, no trades on the table. If it was me, I'd trade back. I'm being straight up and down. See if I can get something. Let's go back up. Let's go back up. If I got to make a selection here, given that we took offensive tackle earlier and a quarterback, I'm going defensive edge rusher. It's either Chris Braswell, Brandon Dorless, or Marshawn Nealon.
You want to look at the list first?
Nealon, though.
You want to look at the list?
No, I'm good. It's probably I would probably go Marshawn Nealon here.
Okay, so we got that from Kedz. Chris, what are your virtues right here?
Yeah, I'd probably take on this particular board. It would be Ben Sennett's the highest player I got rated, but there's some you need a wide receiver. I'm a big Malik Washington fan, man. And I know he's like down at 120, but this guy is a pro player. So I would probably go Malik Washington.
Okay. What about Bishop, man? What are you thinking, man?
I like Washington, but I also like Burton. As long as we get a receiver, man, I'm good with either one of those two guys myself. But if I just have to pick one guy, I'll go Burton.
What'd you think about Burton when you checked him out?
Well, actually, I was familiar with Burton because I watch a lot of SEC and I got dear friends who are big time Alabama fans. So I've had no other choice but to know about Burton, as well as I got friends that got a son that played for Georgia. So we keep up on the receivers. I like him, man, a lot. I like his speed. He knows how to get open. He's got really good soft hands, and I think he has a tremendous upside to him as well. So I like him.
Okay, Shawn.
That would be my pick.
The chat is jonesing for Rice. Hungry for Rice.
Way early to get
Malik
him.
Washington's a better receiver. Period.
Yes.
Shawn, what you think, man?
For some reason I'm like it. I still like at that point I'd go offense still. And I think I'd go after Ben Sinnott, tight end from Kansas State. All right, he does run a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets, and I'm talking about Shane Waldron. So now you have, we just picked up one in free agency to go along with Cole Kmet, but now you have another guy who's more of a pass catching tight end. But Ben Sinnott, yeah.
That's
he's only 6'3". I would like 6'4", 6'5",
Yeah.
but
he's athletic.
Very athletic. Like he's a Like he's a yak guy. Definitely a yak guy.
Uh-huh.
All right, what you think, Trax?
I would like that Dominic Pooney from Kansas. He's a left tackle right now, but he's also played right tackle, and he's got like that really like on contact, man. Like he just punishes guys with his arms. Like when he comes in, it's like a jarring like hit, and his footwork is amazing. I like how he drives people. I'd like to move him over to right tackle, so that way when we have those, outside to inside runs, I could see him doing that. But he's also good at pass blocking too. I'd like to pick him up.
Okay, Tim Bears, man. What's your virtues here, man?
Hey, what did we do with the other picks? Just to recap,
We got Caleb Williams. We drafted Talise Fuaga, offensive tackle out of Oregon. Now and that's it, right?
I say we probably need to go wide receiver. Yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll go with the chat. If we wide receiver, yeah, I figured they didn't they didn't talk to Brendan Rice pretty good. I think just the pedigree. So I would go ahead and take Brendan Rice.
Like that.
All right,
possession receiver.
All right, so here's what I'm thinking. There's a reason why we put Jermaine Burton on that thumbnail. I think a lot of this player, and I think I'm gonna preface this statement by saying I think we made a huge mistake. Like had we traded the number 1 pick and got in position to get the haul, I could really get down with the idea that they didn't sign Darnell Mooney back to the team. But since we did not, and we lost Darnell Mooney, I think we're going to pay for that in a big way, and he's going to perform in Atlanta. But I think we depending on how well Tyler Scott and Valus develop, however they plan on using those two guys, I think we have a hole at slot receiver, and Jermaine Burton is one of the better slot receivers out there in the draft. He's a separator is what he is, but that guy he's like Hines Ward with wheels, kind of. You know what I mean?
Wow.
He is, man. And Jermaine Burton is probably one of the more, if I had to pick a guy that's underrated as far as the receiver goes, he is probably one of the more underrated players out there in the draft. I think a lot of them, I think we have a big hole. Right now, you got some possibilities. You got 2 possibilities on the team. This guy will solidify that slot spot. Since we missed out on those receivers at the top end of the draft, I think when we got Keenan Allen, that means you're going to have to wait another year to get your new X receiver. There's still some guys in there, but I think the best value for right now is Jermaine Burton at that pick. I see you shaking your head. What do you think?
No, I'm with you on that one, man, for the simple fact, and everybody know that I'm a big advocate for Tyler Scott, but the fact that Burton is accustomed to playing in the slot, he's also been used on the outside as well. I really like the kid, and like you said, he's definitely got wheels. This kid finds a way to get open each and every time, and he's got real soft hands, man. I rarely see this kid drop a ball. And I like him, and again, and he's used to the competition. That's what I like most. He's accustomed to the competition. So I preface him as well. I think he would be an excellent addition and we'll definitely fill that gap that we lost with Mooney.
Yeah, I mean, anybody got anything else on that, man? Before we get ready to wrap this thing up, because
you said that he reminds you of Hines Ward. Is that with his ability to block? Is he a good blocker too?
Yes, he does it. He's a baller, man. He's an animal.
Okay.
He does it all.
Okay.
He does it all.
All right.
I think we need somebody to high point that ball, though.
He's not as thick as Hines Ward.
What did he say?
He's 6 foot. He's 6 foot, about 195. He's gonna put on some muscle. He's just Hines Ward with some wheels. Yeah, he's Hines Ward with some hella wheels on him. And he's real for a guy like his size, man. He's very tenacious, man. He's gonna be one of those guys you can ask him to do pretty much anything. But I'm telling you, I prefaced that statement with the Darnell Mooney conversation because I think that was a mistake. If they knew that they were gonna keep that pick, why in the hell would you let Darnell Mooney out when you got that limited opportunity of draft picks? Why would you do that, man? I think that was a huge mistake, and I think Atlanta is going to eat off of Darnell Mooney.
Well, they had no choice. He didn't want to play here anymore.
We don't know that. We don't know
yeah,
that.
We do.
No,
we do.
We don't.
Yes, we do.
Where'd you hear it?
It's out there in the winds, bro. They offered him a relatively large contract. He said he didn't want to play here, and he went seeking another team who wanted to pay him more.
I might have heard. I think I did hear that.
I'm not saying it ain't true. I'm just I haven't seen any proof of that.
Here's what 6 and 1/2 and other.
They offered him 3 for 30. All right, they offered him 3 for 30, 10 per, and he turned it down.
He turned it down, and then he ended up getting. People were like, "Oh my God, he should have bet on himself, whatever." And then all of a sudden he goes and gets 13.
Real quick, a little dime on that though. He from North Alabama, so he going back to the crib. So sometimes when you go back to the crib, you'll take a little hometown discount to be close to the crib.
No, he didn't get a discount. He got more. That don't apply.
Yeah.
Oh, he got more money.
That's even better.
Plus he can get wings at the strip club. So.
Oh yeah.
He get free wings.
He staying in the hotel while he was in Chicago.
No.
Yeah, his first couple years he had a little he had a hotel first year and like a condo, but man, come on, man, that real estate in that area, he could, you know what I'm saying? You can get that little that pad down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
hey,
I'm just saying
he can raise the big meat to get out. He's getting out soon.
Ain't nothing wrong with the A. I'm here to tell you, ain't nothing wrong with the A, and the wings are good at the strip club.
Yeah, you see Rick Ross, man. You can get what you pay for a pad up in Chicago versus a pad up in Chicago. I mean, in Atlanta, man, Marietta somewhere, be living light.
Yeah,
where it's cheap out there, man.
Brother.
Huh?
Yeah, real estate's real cheap. It's really cheap.
Man, what? You see, Rick Ross' house costs half of what if Rick Ross lived anywhere else, man, his house would be 10 times the value.
All right, guys. Hey, you know what, man? I did live in Atlanta for 10 years, man. I'm telling you, after you're done partying down there, the place sucks. I don't care what nobody says. The place sucks. There's nothing to do outside of going to a party, man. Atlanta is my experience there. I met some really good people down there, like the true AT aliens, man, the people that originate from Atlanta, man. Those are some real down people if you ever want to meet some, man. And some of my good friends in life I met down there, real AT aliens. It's the people that come from everywhere else that tend to mess that place up sometimes. But I digress, man. Hey, good show, fellas, man. Let's give some pleasantries before we get out of here. Start with
Smitty Q. My mortgage is $750 a month. Yeah, it's cheaper. I'm with it, Smitty, bro. Maybe a trip to the Asia.
Hey, Coach, I'm sorry, man. If you original AT alien, anybody that's original AT alien, they know I'm with them. But sometimes, man, some of the people from other places really screw that place up, man. My fault, kids. Go ahead.
So yeah, it's been an interesting chat. I've been paying attention, letting 10 Bears and Trax really give it today. Good on both of you, brothers. Thanks for joining us today. It was impressive. Props to my guys, Keith, Shawn, Nomad, Again, always awesome chopping it up as per normal. But the chat was a special thing today. So we got Leonidas 2.0. He's back. He's just as annoying, but we'll leave you. You're allowed to be here. I'm all for free speech. Speak freely. Just don't be, there's no reason to attack folks. Just be cool. And by the way, Justin Fields is no longer a quarterback, so who cares? Let's just talk about other stuff. The other thing that was super interesting in the chat for me today was Brad Holmes / Don Burr. It was super interesting because Brad Holmes jumps in today. And I call him Brad Holmes / Don, and he's like, "Who's this Don Burr guy? I don't know who he is." So I respond and I say, "Look, I'm gonna call you Brad Holmes / Don Burr until both of you guys are actually in the same chat room together." And you know what magically happens? Magically, Don Burr and Brad Holmes somehow appear in the same chat together today. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Like the coincidence is astronomical at levels I can't even count.
Forensic K.
It just means that basically Brad Holmes and Don Burr have a phone and a computer, and they can log into both of their accounts. Like I'm a tech guy. I can figure stuff out real quick. In any event, good to see that you're the same guy for sure. Love how I lined that up to make sure that everybody now knows. So yeah, Brad Holmes and Don Burr is definitely the same guy. Outside of that, No Maniacs, awesome show. It's been fun. Bishop, bear down.
So Don Burr has two phones like Kevin Gates, huh?
If anybody would know, it's you and me, really, because Don Burr there's Don Burr 2.0, Don Burr with 1 R, with 2 R's. There's all kinds of different Don Burrs out there. We're well aware of this. Now there's Brad Holmes and there's also Jahmyr Gibbs. So be aware and vigilant when Jahmyr Gibbs jumps in the chat tomorrow. Bishop.
I don't even know how to follow that up, but it is. No Maniac Sports Owners, once again, thank you guys for hanging out with us a little over an hour, as you always do. You guys are through and true. Thank you so much. To my man V-Dub out there in the D, I know you out there on that truck, my brother, and you was listening to us. My man, stay safe out there. Coach T, thank you for joining us today, brother. Yes, sir. And to the AT aliens out there, and to the A, to all the Bears fans in the A, thank you again for following us as well. To my guys on the panel, I want to thank you guys. It's always a wonderful time to chop it up with you guys. Trax, my man, thank you for joining us for the second day. My man, 10 Bears, thank you, brother. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was definitely a pleasure, and SuperBack, I don't know, brother. You, my man, your show today was on fire, and it was good to have you on here today as well, man. I just love chopping up with you. Nomad, you my guy, Chris in the back, and Brian in the back. Love you guys as well. Hey, all I'm going to say to everybody today for that joined us and those that are listening, have a safe and enjoyable rest of your day. And if it's snowing in Chicago,
nope,
take it
not.
easy out there.
Don't worry about it. It's not.
It ain't, man. Now you shut your mouth. Don't be calling no snow.
Nope.
We don't want to see no
don't jinx Canada either. We're about to get it too. Don't be jinxing.
According to the radar, y'all got something coming.
Nope.
It has been seen in some areas.
But it's gonna pass us.
But as I look out my window, it's so sunny and bright at 80 degrees.
Yeah, you need to.
Y'all have a good one. All right.
You can glare off his glass in the sun out there.
That's why I want a karate chop his ass right now. Go ahead, Shawn.
Go ahead, Shawn.
Sports owners and Omaniacs unite. Tell them, watch your mouth. All right. Hey, Sports owners and Omaniacs unite. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. Make sure you follow Sports Zone Chicago, my YouTube channel. All right. You see the logo up there. Thank you, Chris. I love it. Make sure you follow the YouTube channel. Make sure you follow Chicago Sports Podcast. I would be with Brandon. All right. It's all about sharing resources. It's all about helping everybody, helping each other get move on to this industry. So have a phenomenal day. Even if it is snowing out down by you, it'll snow in Texas. You'll have one drop of snow and then the whole city is shut down. What do we do? What do we do?
That's okay. That's okay because it only lasts 24 hours. 24 hours, and the next day is 75.
So everybody else, have a phenomenal day. All right. Make sure you guys have do something nice. Make somebody smile. Give them a compliment. I say, hey, I like your nice shoes, big dog, whatever. Something. We need a lot more love in the world and a lot less hate. All right. So you do that, and trust me, the world will be a much better place. I'll be back mañana with you guys. What's tomorrow? Thursday. tomorrow 1 o'clock. I'll see you then. B.
Thursday.
Go ahead.
Hey, everybody. It was a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure hanging out with you guys on this hump day. I tell you what, I learned a lot. Even if I was just sitting here in the chat, listening to you guys like I always do at the gym or wherever abroad, today there was a lot of info. I mean, anywhere from the receiver talks to what are we doing, with the 75th. I mean, you guys brought a lot of info, man. It was great chopping it up with you guys. And 10 Bear, I'm gonna get your info, man, so we can cook, man. I'm excited to get in the kitchen with you and make something, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Just shout out to the chat. Yo, thank you to Nomad for inviting me. That's how since the day, that's like I told him, I said I started kind of checking out some different platforms. You know what I'm saying? This was like when you walking through school and you like, I'm gonna hang with them guys over there. They seem like they cool, man. I feel like this the sports Wu-Tang Clan, man. All the dope spitters, all the dope vibes. So I just want to thank everybody, thank the chat.
It is Wu-Tang Wednesday.
No doubt. Sports Zone.
People listen to Wu-Tang Clan on Wednesdays?
Come
Wu-Tang
on,
Wednesday, dog.
Wu-Tang for the children, baby. You listen to Wu-Tang all the time.
Hey, every day, boy. What you talking about, man?
They call that Wu Wednesday, man.
Yep.
Wu Wednesday, baby. So the Sports Zone and Chicago Sports Podcast, everybody, man. Just love to everybody, love to the chat, all the chat faithful, man. Just like you said, man, just have a blessed one and stay safe out there.
Hey, man, let me say this to you two guys, man.
Let me say this first. I don't know what any of that means, Wu-Tang Wednesday. What is it?
Hey, you don't need to know, man, Chris. You just keep listening to your Peebo Bryson, man. You'll be all right.
Peebo Bryson. Oh, no.
Hey, you know what Peebo brings when tell them what comes with Peebo Bryson.
Oh, man.
It's always it's you, Peebo, and who else? Somebody else.
All right, real quick, guys. Hey, I just want to say a shout out to Tracks Brandon for being just being a willing participant and being a resource. We're gonna try to be a resource to each other the best way we can. As I told you when we met, I meant when I said, man, when I see good people out there that are looking to grow their platform, and we're no big platform at all, but whatever we can offer, we will help. And I feel like I'm doing it with the right people, man. I think Brandon's a solid guy, man, and I have no problem sharing with him. And just planting seeds with each other, I think is a great thing. So I appreciate you for being here, Brandon. And 10 Bears, man, dog. He is going to be a pivotal part of what we're doing at the Nomad Network. You guys are going to find that out soon. I think he's going to be the newest co-host to the Nomad Network, just like Keith was, man. I really think highly of those two guys. Me and Keith don't talk nearly enough like we first started to, but that's just me being busy all the time. But we're going to start working some stuff out, man. He's got some stuff.
Sir.
We want to cook up too. So I just appreciate you for being here, 10 Bears, and being willing. Man, definitely can't wait to see for people to see what we got cooking, man. And my trustees, the Canuck, Shawn, man, hey, appreciate you guys. I love you guys every day, man. Appreciate you for always being here. And for you guys in the chat, man, you know how much we love you guys. And I'm not just speaking for myself. I'm talking about everybody. We love you guys for all the support you give us, man. And for the people that listen on audio platforms, love you guys. And if you have not already subscribed to the channels at the Nomad Network, the Chicago Bears podcast, Chicago Sports Podcast, I'm going to get that right, man. And also Sports Zone Chicago, please do us that favor. We would really appreciate it. But it was a great show. So I always got to leave you guys with these famous words before we get out of here, man. Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Shy City, stand up, bear down. Yay, yay.
Oh.